Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a tutorial on how to do your own DIY dip powder at home, and I'm using a kit that I bought off of Amazon, which I will have linked below in the description box. I'm going to show you exactly how I do this, give you my tips, and at the end of the video, I'll give you a brief overview of the steps again so that you can reference that when you are doing it in the future after you have the hang of it a little more. The first things that you're going to need are the Kiara Sky polishes. They're conveniently labeled 1 through 4. I will have those linked below as well. You can have a nail file, which I will also have linked below because there's a certain grit that you want, and that's the one that I will link. A buffer, you can have a cuticle pusher if you want, a colored powder, a clear powder, and some sort of makeup brush. You don't have to use one that you use on your face. You can have a separate one if you'd prefer. Before anything else, you want to file your bare nails on the actual nail. You kind of want to make them gritty so that they last longer. In my experience, I've done this several times and it usually lasts me over a week, but not quite 2 weeks. And I think that's just because I'm being pretty conservative on how much I file. I have used an electric file before. I was very, very bad at it. So if you don't really trust yourself with that, I would start with this kind of file instead. But basically, the grittier you make your nails, the longer the manicure will stay in my experience. The next thing you're going to do is use the first polish in the system. That's Bond number 1, and you're going to paint that all over your nails. You don't need to be neat here, but assume that you do have to be neat in all the other steps unless otherwise specified. Next, you're going to use your base polish, which is polish number 2, and we're only going to paint the top 3/4 of the nail. You want to be pretty neat in this step. You want to have kind of a U shape at the bottom rather than making it kind of messy. You also want to remember that anywhere the polish is touching is where the colored powder is going to go. So you don't want to miss the sides of your nails, for example. Once you painted the top 3/4 of your nails with this polish, you want to quickly dip it into the powder at a 45-degree angle and tap off any extra powder. You can also just blow on your finger after you tap it. And then you're going to repeat that step on every single finger using the polish and then dipping into the powder. And then once all 10 fingers are done, you can use a makeup brush to brush off any excess powder as well. Just make sure that you don't use the makeup brush before you've done all 10 fingers. Otherwise, it could be a little too wet and then you'll get streak marks on your nails. That said, before your nails are completely dry, if you need to, you can use your other nail or an orange stick or something like that and go along the cuticle and clean up any polish that got anywhere you don't want it, like on the cuticle or on the sides of your fingers. Because this stuff dries hard as a rock, I definitely recommend doing a little bit of a cleanup right after you've dipped into the colored powder if you need to. Next, you're going to use base polish again, still the number 2 polish, but this time you are going to go all the way down to your nail, just a hairline away from the cuticle. So you are painting it over everything that you just did and then some. And then it's the same process. You're going to paint it all over your nail, just a hairline away from the cuticle, dip your nail in at a 45-degree angle to the colored powder, tap off any extra, and then repeat on the next nail until all 10 fingers are done, and then use your makeup brush to tap off any extra powder. One more tip for this step is, in addition to only being a hairline away from the cuticle and doing your whole nail, you really want to make sure the bottom of your nail kind of makes a nice U shape because it's going to dry in whatever spot that you put the polish. So if it's not completely rounded at the bottom, you're going to see that when there is color on it. If you're using a darker color than the one I'm using, you could start by doing this with your clear powder first. But since I'm using such a light color, I'm not worried about it. Also, if you're using a darker color, you might not have to repeat this step, but because I'm using such a light color and I want it to be a little more opaque, I'm going to repeat this step again. So I'm going to use my base polish, my number 2 polish, over the whole nail, dip it into the colored powder again, tap off any extra, repeat on all 10 fingers, and then use the makeup brush to clean things up. Now I'm going to use base for the last time. I'm going to paint it over the whole nail, only touching wherever I have color, and I'm going to dip it into the clear powder. I'm doing this because when you file, which is our next step, it's not going to take off the color when you file things off. Make sure to brush off all the extra once you've done this on all of your 10 nails, and then we are going to use polish number 3, which is called Seal and Protect, over all of our nails, and you do not need to be neat here. Once you've used it on all 10 fingers, wait 1 full minute for that to dry. The next step is to file, shape, and buff the nails. The goal here is to have it not be chunky looking, because as you are painting, it can look chunky and weird, but just don't worry, because that's always how it goes. And the filing is what takes that away. Once you finish filing, now you are going to use that third polish again, which is called Seal and Protect. Paint it all over your nails. You don't need to worry about being neat, and wait another full minute for it to dry. Next, you're going to use your top coat, which is polish number 4, and this is where you do need to be neat again. You don't want to go all the way to the cuticle. You only want to put it over where color already is. That's because this is not your average top coat, and if it goes underneath to the space between the polish and the cuticle, it will dry there and look kind of funny when it grows out. It's not a big deal, but it is worth mentioning. Now you're going to wait 2 full minutes for this to dry, and then you're going to repeat that step again, doing 1 more coat of the top coat and letting it dry for another 2 minutes. The very last step is to use some sort of olive oil or cuticle oil on your nails. There is a similar kit to this on Amazon with a 5th polish, and it's really just an oil polish. I don't think it was necessary. After reading some reviews, I decided that I could get the same effect from olive oil, and I am happy with my results. So if you want to save some money, just skip that 5th polish and use the kit with 4 polishes. I also want to let you know how to remove this nail polish if you need to. You just soak a cotton ball in 100% acetone, but really make sure that it's 100% acetone and not a mix, and then wrap the cotton ball on your nail with tin foil and leave it on there for about 10 minutes, and it should peel off pretty easily. For faster reference, once you have the hang of it but just want to remember the steps without watching a tutorial, these are the steps that you want to follow. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're excited to try this yourself or have done it yourself and had success, please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below. And with that, I hope you subscribe, stick around, check out some of my other videos about how to make life a little bit easier. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.